Hi, I'm Dave. These are books. The title of this book is Unfamiliar Fishes. The author is Sarah Vowell. It was published in 2011. It's a new book. I must admit I was unfamiliar with Sarah Vowell when I saw this book title on a New York Times bestseller list. I consider Hawaii to be my second home, so since the blurb identified Unfamiliar Fishes as being about Hawaii, I decided to give it a try. The author is correct in this observation. In Hawaii, there is so much to learn. Ms. Vowell had access to an unbelievable treasure of archival documents, as well as significant human anecdotal resources. Despite this, I found myself feeling that I was reading a term paper written from somewhere else. As it turns out, Ms. Vowell was living in New York City during the 3 years she worked on Unfamiliar Fishes. The author indirectly describes her MO as to observe, measure, and describe everything of interest which she might find in her travels. There are a lot of historical facts cited in Unfamiliar Fishes. The trick is for the reader unfamiliar with Hawaiian history to separate historical facts from Ms. Vowell's constant spinning. Sarah Vowell has been referred to as a social observer and has referred to herself as a historical tourist. Keep in mind, however, that there is a difference between history and historical tourism. In Hawaiian outrigger canoeing, one of the 6 seats is sometimes referred to as the tourist or passenger seat, where the person contributing least to the physical effort is placed. As I was reading Unfamiliar Fishes, I came to feel that this is the seat which would be occupied by Miss Vowell. She seems so bookish, dispensing an attitude of superiority towards all she surveys. This attitude is possible and might seem justified only because she's not involved. She's merely observing. A collection of drive-by literary observations might be a good description of the effort. Ms. Vowell's point of view reminds me of that displayed at times by Quentin Tarantino, the perspective of a watcher sitting on a couch as opposed to the perspective of a participant participating. I'm not saying she's wrong about any of this. Unfamiliar Fishes has been described as a work of nonfiction. However, there is a lot of fiction included herein. By the second paragraph of the book, I realized that Ms. Vowell's wordsmithing was going to be, at times, annoying. To put it another way, the syntax sucks. The author provides insight into the training and motivations of the missionaries and their wives. One of Ms. Vowell's non-fictional observations is that a Polynesian queen was deposed by the sons of churchy New Englanders. My take is that those missionaries and their wives had daughters, and the daughters were involved too. I don't know why Ms. Vowell automatically gives all of the female offspring a blanket free pass. Do you? It has been said that the missionaries and their wives went to Hawaii to do good, and they did very well. While there were offspring of the missionaries involved in the Hawaiian regime change, there were also Christian ministers actively involved in support of the Royal Hawaiians, the kingdom of the Kamehameha line. It might be more instructive to accurately describe the principal players as lawyers, as in the lawyers stole Hawaii from the Hawaiians. So much for the infallibility of the rule of law. To paraphrase S.I. Hayakawa, they stole it fair and square. I must say that Miss Vowell provides very insightful anecdotal observations, as with her descriptions of plate lunches, of Americans sharing cheese and sausage, and Rudyard Kipling's comment about a godly little New England community. The author tackles the very emotional subject of Hawaiian sovereignty and of the sovereignty movement. It is somewhat oxymoronic, Ms. Vowell's heartfelt support of Hawaii's losing battle to ward off foreign intruders, while missing the obvious fact that she herself is noteworthy among those foreign intruders. Ms. Vowell mentions in passing, but does not direct her smarmy sense of ironic outrage toward, the murderous theft of the Hawaiian Islands by Mr. Kamehameha and his party including the Brits with whom he collaborated. Apparently, Mr. Kamehameha and his supporters, past and present, receive a free pass from the historical tourist, Miss Val. I'll save that discussion for another time. Miss Val does acknowledge the existence of Pan-Polynesia, a concept not intuitively obvious to many Malahinis, with the quote, "Same language, same people, same culture." The author gives a very good and illustrative example of aloha spirit and lack thereof in practice. Sarah provides insight into the creation of the Hawaiian alphabet and written language. Here are a few of my favorite quotes from the book. Quote, "Nu'uano is another good view with a bad massacre." Quote, "How deeply Henry had drunk the Jesus juice." Quote, "That's what a mission is, a bunch of strangers showing up somewhere uninvited to inform the locals they are wrong." Quote, "Knowing how loving they can be to one another just makes their fears of strangers seem all the more pathetic and small." Quote, "Nearly 2 centuries of Hawaiian economics, from whaling to sugar to tourism." Quote, "They are true Hawaiians. Flowers are necessary for their very life." Quote, "When it was completed, some of the natives said among themselves, 'That house of worship built by the Hales is a place in which they will pray us all to death. It is meant to kill us.'" Quote, "Chastity is not a recommendation for Hawaiian boys and girls, the sexes associating without restraint almost from infancy." Quote, "The foundation of royalty is the notion that one family's blood is better than any other's, and therefore needs to be protected from being, as that Hawaiian chief put it, contaminated." Sarah Vowell closes her book with the help of Brother Israel Kamakawiwa Ole, which is both appropriate and effective. Miss Vowell does not include James Michener's Hawaii in her bibliography. I enjoyed reading Unfamiliar Fishes, although I was simultaneously irritated by aspects of the author's style, lack of precision, and naivete, like fingernails on a blackboard during a performance of Mozart's finest. Miss Vowell's insight come with some glaring oversights and obvious blind spots, but this is entertainment, not scholarly research. I recommend Unfamiliar Fishes to anyone with an interest in Hawaii, and also to anyone wishing to experience historical tourism. Here is my personal message for Sarah Vowell. Aloha, Sarah. As I read Unfamiliar Fishes, formulated my opinions, and wrote this review, I did so with respect for your beliefs. I sense the passion in your work, and I hope that I have not offended in any way. Once again, aloha. The title of the book, Unfamiliar Fishes. The author is New York Times best-selling author Sarah Vowell. Sarah Vowell. It's a new book, having been published in 2011. I enjoyed it very much. I recommend it. I'm Dave. These are books.